Hey, what's going on everyone? Matthew from therighttrader.com back again with another video. Today we're going to be doing a price prediction and analysis for AMD in 2020. Now, AMD obviously had a great year in 2019, and really, I mean, it's been one of the best stocks out there by all means. Now, there's a couple of things that I wanted you to pay attention to here at the beginning of this analysis. So first off is the all-time high at $50.31, right? This is an important number. Any big round number like this, especially $50, is going to be a hugely important level. Now, right now, it's a resistance level, could turn into support. So we're going to talk about that and how that $50 level is really key. Market cap currently right under $60 billion. If we take a look at the chart here now, we can see the rise it had. And I mean, if you were trying to call a top anywhere throughout this move higher, right? You know, I'm just gonna say that you would never even think that this move would ever happen. Really, I mean, there were so many resistance levels to get through, and it just it really went through those resistance levels like butter. I remember when AMD was still at $3, and you know, no one really thought it would ever become a $50 stock. There was some people, but I mean, it was almost a joke at that point that AMD was going to stay at $3 forever. What it did was really amazing. So I think it's in a whole new league. I don't think we're going to see AMD, you know, come crumbling back down or anything like that. And you really need to be careful trying to call tops on a stock with this much strength in it, because like I said, if you tried to do that during this move higher, you'd have pretty much been wrong every time for the most part. I wanted to also show that if we take a look at the previous kind of all-time highs, right, we'll see that we really broke out of them nicely. And on top of that, we have a super strong and powerful uptrend going on right now. We even have like a couple uptrend lines we can draw. This would be one of them. And then of course we have, you know, our shorter term uptrend lines. If I go ahead and zoom in a bit, that I can draw in as well, just to give a clear idea of where we might find some support in a pullback scenario, right? So we actually have, you know, a good 4 uptrend lines that can easily be drawn out here. And of course, you know, the shorter term they are, the less likely they are to last. And the more long term they are, like this one right here, this is much more significant and could really last, you know, years. So before I get more into the analysis, don't forget to check out my other stock price prediction videos. I've got a whole playlist for 2020, and I've already covered a bunch of stocks like Amazon, Apple, so make sure to check that out. Link in the description of this video. And moving back to the chart, what I wanted to show is that $50 mark and kind of some important support and resistance levels to be aware of. What I wanted to point out right now is we are currently obviously still uptrending, and I think that pattern is going to continue in 2020. I don't really see AMD, you know, like I said, coming crashing back down to $15 or $10 or anything like that. Those resistance, those previous levels have already been tested, and I really think that, like I said, AMD is kind of in a new league here where we can't really expect it to go back to where it was. With that being said, we have made a very strong, almost exaggerated move higher, and a pullback will be necessary at some time. It's hard to tell when that's going to happen exactly, but we have a bit of a bearish divergence here on the RSI, so that's something that we need to be careful of. Of course, this move higher hasn't really ended, so who knows, maybe we'll break higher here on the RSI. I'd be careful, right? We're at all-time highs, right at a major support level at $50, like I said, and that level is very, very key, because if we're able to break above that level, what's going to happen is we need to break above it and stay above it. We're going to start pushing onwards towards $100. Now, obviously, we're not going to just reach $100 overnight, but over the course of 2020, we could really start making some nice progress towards that, right? Getting to $60, $70, $80. Because once you break through these huge resistance levels like $50, the next step is the next big resistance level, which is $100. And if you're able to get above this $50 mark, usually most of the time, you know, it's just a march onwards towards $100. So, do I think that's going to happen? I do think it's very possible, and that's why I think it's super important to pay attention to that $50 mark. And like I said, anytime that we move above that and stay above that and start moving towards $55, which would probably happen pretty quickly at that point, you really need to pay attention, because that's really the signal towards the move to, you know, whole new highs, right? And that's the bullish scenario, obviously, and a scenario that's completely feasible. Now, what is the bearish scenario here? Well, I think that, like I said, we are due for a pullback due to a couple signs like this bearish divergence on the RSI, and just the fact that this move is, you know, very extended. We haven't come back and tested the moving averages in a while here, so I think we definitely need to test that white middle line, Bollinger Band line at you know, around $37. And really, what I'm thinking is it would be logical and good also for the stock to come back, test that $35 mark, because that's the previous breakout level, and we haven't really come back and tested it since. Like, you know, back here, for example, we moved above $15, and then we made our push higher towards $35, then came back at $15 to close that gap, right? We haven't done that for the $35 mark. So sooner or later, I believe that will have to be done. It's hard to tell if we're going to be able to stretch it out more above $50 before that happens, but I'm inclined to say here that we're going to see something along those lines. In the shorter term, maybe the next month or 3 months, we're going to start moving back lower and testing that $35 mark. And then we're going to find support off this uptrend line right here to then push us back towards $50, and this time cleanly get that break above $50, but that would push us towards the end of the year probably, right? So if I go ahead and kind of predict this pattern drawn out, I'm thinking something like this, right? We're going to start moving lower. We're going to test the $35 mark, bounce off that, and you know, maybe we're gonna see a weaker end of year where we bounce off the uptrend line, or what we might see as well is something where we actually bounce really nicely off that $35 mark and directly start pushing back towards $50 to attempt to break out above $50. And I think any second attempt at a $50 test here, I'm talking after we made that pullback back to $35, will probably be the time that we're going to see that breakout that lasts above $50. And yeah, just wanted to put in one more uptrend line right here that could be of importance. We could see something where, you know, we get that test, move back above the trend line. It really depends on what type of strength we're going to see. But either way, we're going to have to test that $35 mark sooner rather than later, I believe, after this move higher, which isn't a bad thing, right? If we looked at the previous moves on AMD, we've always needed to do that, and it's just healthy, and it allows the stock to move higher over the long term as well, not just a quick spike that goes crashing back down, right? That's not really the type of movement that we want to see. If we look at this move, it was a very big spike followed by a sharp drop, and this one already has more kind of, you know, backing and basing to it, where it didn't just happen in a single shot. Obviously, it was very fast in the grand scheme of things, but we've clearly tested back all the levels that we broke out of and followed on. So that's exactly what you want to see in a move that's actually going to last. And like I said, I don't see AMD, you know, crumbling back down to $10 or anything like that. I think that the path is higher, and you know, I think that we are going to see them march onwards towards $100, either, you know, near maybe the middle of 2020 or more towards the beginning of 2021. With that being said, this is the end of this video. Thanks for watching, everyone. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe. Don't forget to check out my other stock price prediction videos, playlist in the description. And also, don't forget to check out my technical analysis master course, The Ultimate Guide to Technical Analysis. Less than $20 and 30-day money-back guarantee. Everything you need to know about technical analysis. Link as well in the description. Thanks for watching, everyone.